We had a chance to talk with RobertFrank, also known as Dead Edgar, at his Wednesday night sidewalk performance at the Proletariat. Here's our conversation.
Thank you.
Wow, and a long ovation for RobertFrank, the Dead Edgar, as we cross the street for a final interview as he strikes. Very well received. Robert, what a nice show tonight, and what a pleasure it is to talk with you. What a responsive crowd you had as well. This is a highly produced one-person show. Did you create from scratch all the tracks?
Yes. Sugar Hill in Houston, yes.
Yeah, wow.
I worked with an engineer there, many sessions, putting together the tracks and the sound effects on the tracks.
Yeah.
And it was continuous work.
Your timing was just impeccable on it, too.
Thank you so much.
Your interpretation of the poetry, of the words, established their own song. How long have you worked? I know that you began this thing, 7 or 8 years ago?
Yes.
But how long did you work production-wise, just on building this 1-hour show?
It was a lot of hours in the studio, a lot of rehearsal hours. Gosh, I can't even quantify it. It's just been a work in progress. When I first began, it was only The Raven, that one
right.
poem, and I thought, well, this really worked out. I wonder if there's other poems of Edgar's that I could do. And I started reading the poetry of Edgar Allan Poe and discovering different poems that appealed to me, and then sort of going through the catalog of Chopin's work, and somehow was able to pair the poem with the perfect composition.
The pairing or curation was just incredible, and I would have never thought about taking that approach.
Once I had success with one, I built another and another. Now there's a dozen in my repertoire. They're all Edgar Allan Poe poems, all set to Chopin except for The Raven, which I don't know if you recognize that theme. It was from American Beauty.
Okay, I didn't know. I knew that you worked it, and you worked it with your special effects and everything
yes.
as well. Timing was incredible.
Thank you.
Hitting your marks, hitting your time marks on all of those.
Thank you.
That aside, the technical aspect was very, very good.
Thank you.
But how long did you work, and how easy did the interpretation of the reed go for you?
It took a while to memorize and internalize the poetry, so you sort of have a body memory. So from there, you can take flight and create once the mechanics are down. And then the interpretation opens, wide up. But really, after the memorization, and once I had selected the music, the words in the music just seemed to fit so perfectly that I was able to just put it together and recite it. And the more I recited it, it always fit up front, but the more I worked with it, the more I was able to put myself into it and interpret it and put emotion into it. And
I would take it well beyond recitation and say that you have claimed this and without being trite have internalized it into just a very, very good show.
Thank you so much. It's a lot of work. I put my heart and soul into it, and I just feel like I just made this discovery that I've never heard anyone recite the poetry of Edgar Allan Poe like this.
No. It's never taken on the meaning, for me personally, that it has to hear you recite it. We've all read bits and pieces of it, or had somebody read it to us, but a straight read, a straight recitation, not an embodiment of the words themselves.
Exactly. I get that feedback a lot where people say, I've read the poetry and I've heard it read, but never has it come to life, and never have I understood it the way you recited it. It's sort of, you understand the meaning a little more clearly,
right?
Because I feel like the way I recited or put my emotion into it, it tells the story more than you're reading a technical poem or listening to someone just recite the words of the poetry.
Something that I did not realize, and I don't know if you recognize this right away, was the musicality of the words themselves as compared to Chopin. Did you hear that in your mind initially, or did that come together as you were reading against the music?
It really came together as I put them together. Yes, it was much more putting them together that it lifted off, like the words impressed me more hearing them recited to the music than just by themselves. Although I could recite now these poems without the music.
No, where the musicality of the words themselves would stand on their own.
Yes, probably, because, in my mind I'm always hearing the accompaniment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I'm saying is, besides the accompaniment, Chopin, just the standalone of the words has its own natural music to it.
Absolutely.
Spoken word music.
Yes.
That I have never heard put into that verbiage before.
Mm-hmm. That's the genius of Poe. I mean, he just was able to capture that emotion, that feeling in a poem, and I believe that the music, Chopin captures that same emotion. I like to say that Chopin, Poe, and I'm a big fan of M.C. Escher,
Mm-hmm.
and the three of them, to me, are able to represent the infinite within the confines of the finite. So within the confines of words and the confines of music, just by the sheer mathematical limitation that we have in this dimension, your spirit is lifted by hearing them together and thinking of the words that are being said and the meaning. It just takes flight, and it just it takes you to another dimension.
I'm just going to say, once again, without being trite, it does take one. The cumulative of the hard numbers that you've just spoken about, the analytics and everything, do project you to another dimension.
Absolutely. And my favorite experience is when I recite and I look into the audience and people have their eyes closed and they're on that journey. They're using their imaginations. They're listening to the words and the music, and they're somewhere out there, somewhere in another dimension. And I think that's what all three of those artists tried to do, is take you to that place.
Which brings me to another point. That's when you have eye contact. What's it like working across the street to your house?
We have a perfect evening for it, don't we? And look at the beautiful building.
Right.
The sound bouncing off the building was really good feedback. Good. And this feels very comfortable to me because this is where I started. I know a lot of these people here.
Right.
And this is home to me. This is great. I recite at Dickens on the Strand, so I'm on these streets a lot reciting. But yeah, it felt great to be here. Very urban, downtown feeling of us, core Galveston, citizens, and so it's awesome to be here. I'm really grateful to Becky Major and to the Proletariat for helping me get started, because I came to them with my idea to do this show in the very beginning. I think you heard me tell that story of the first performance.
Oh, yes. And I saw that first performance.
You were there.
I was with you 100%.
Oh my God, that was excruciating.
We were inside your brain at that time, believe me.
Yes, I had a friend who was helping me produce the show, and he said I had to walk out. I couldn't stay there. It was too painful to watch. And he said, but I was standing outside, and then I hear this big burst of applause.
Oh, yeah.
And I came back in, and everybody was just with me.
You had a crowd with you, yeah. That had to be a very emotional moment for you, too,
was.
as a performer.
It was emotional, and this show is emotional.
It is.
You could probably hear it in my voice. I still get kind of...
It is, yeah.
The emotion is very close to the surface, so it takes me a while to come out of it.
And that is contagious as well. So,
yes, thank you.
So, RobertFrank, let's give a final comment for people who might be aspiring. Would you call yourself a performer are a student of the poetry. Where do you place yourself in this? And how would you advise somebody else that has any interest in pursuing an equivalent?
I consider myself a performance artist.
Good.
I come from Chicago, and I have a background in performance art. I used to love performance art in Chicago.
Right.
I mean, I've just loved it. And so I'm proud to say that I consider myself a performance artist because I perform, I'm an artist, I interpret these works. For somebody getting started, you have to feel it in your heart, and you have to go for it. You cannot doubt yourself because it's hard starting out, especially to put your idea out there, especially if it's original or you think, people are going to think I'm crazy or whatever. Do it. That's what defines you as an artist, that you step outside of those boundaries and discover yourself. And I mean, it's amazing. I would recommend anybody who has a dream to pursue their dreams.
And that was Robert Frank, also known as Dead Edgar, and some comments on his performance at the Proletariat Sidewalk Session. This is Jim Bratton.